Please give it up one more time for Mark on the show. Thank you. Good to see you. How are you? Good. Thank you. Right, Mark, first of all, I want to say congratulations, for you to be on the Big Brother. But before all of that, Mark, what were you doing before you get into the Big Brother's house?
I just finished uni. I did my last exam the day before I came in. I'm studying organic chemistry, so I'm finished now. So I'm actually a qualified scientist now, guys.
Wow.
You must have paid them a lot of money to scream, did you? Yeah, so I do that, and then I'm a UK pleasure boy as well at the weekend. So that's what paid me through uni, and then that's pretty much what I do.
Right. Now, Mark, what actually motivates you to go into the Big Brother's house?
Well, I suppose, why not? I just said, why not? Let's do it for a laugh. It was actually my friend applied for the crack. And when she told me, I sent a video in for you, I was like, no, you didn't. And then they called me back, and every time you do it, you go to the next round, like so many rounds, like 6 rounds to it. So after the first round, you're still kind of taking it, this is a laugh, I'm not really going to go on this. Second round again, they call you back, they call you back, they call you back, and you still, no matter what, you still keep thinking, this round they're going to say no, no, no. Next thing you know, you're in the garden, turning around, everyone's screaming, trying to get you out of this house, like, so that was really it, so you don't realise you're there until you're sitting in the diary room going, how on earth did I get here, it's very surreal to get there. I did it for a laugh, I just did it for, that's literally genuinely all I did. I treated it like a pantomime. I was there just to have a laugh, and every time I kept thinking in my head, people always ask me, what was it like? What was going through your head when you were watching it? Well, I was thinking in my head what everybody else at home was watching. So I was like, what would I like to see now? We do tinfoil. I know what to do with that. Yeah, great. And that was really it.
Good. And what was your challenge while in the Big Brother's house?
Challenge. The only challenge is like it's different. I never knew I was so Irish until I went in that show. I used to always. Everyone always thinks, he always goes, no, I'm different. I'm not really like everyone else in Ireland. I am very much like everyone in Ireland, and the thing is that you don't realise it. Like, well, we're all alcoholics, we all know that, right? But it was the banter, exactly, right? You go in there and like you'd say something here, and it's like you'd say it my mum would say some stuff to me that people would consider an insult in UK. When you say it over there, everyone got offended so easy. Like you couldn't say anything without someone getting offended. Like you wore a T-shirt that had a slogan on it, someone was offended by it. You couldn't do anything. I think the hardest thing for me was being in there with nobody else like me that was actually wanted to have some fun. Yeah. I think them personally, and it's not in a bitter way, it was just the way I see it, is that people were sitting there and they realised they jumped through hoops to get to where they were. Like you look at the VTs of people that went in, that's not the same person that was in the house. They were playing the game and acting, I'm mad, I do this, I do the other, trying to get in through every round, jumping through them hoops to get through. And when they got there, they went, okay, now we're here, now sit back and chill out. When I got there, I was kind of going, okay, now you want to see me blow up and just go mental, and that's what I did.
Wow. Now, like we do watch some of your clips, and fortunately we can't play some of those clips, during the course of the show. But, how do you find yourself when you have to you have to have a go with another housemate, in relation to maybe food, or in relation to anything, activities, or you don't like the way they behave, or maybe the way you talk? Okay. How do you manage to kind of walk around that?
Well, as you can see, if you watch the show, I'm pretty calm. I love winding them up. I used to get off literally. You've got no TV. That's one thing that you really feel is so different in everyday life. You've no pencils, you've no TV, you've no books, you've nothing to read. The last time I was in there and I started reading the Toilet Duck on one day because there's nothing to read. You've no phone, you've no social media, you've nothing. So the only is, and they only show you 45 minutes of a 24-hour period. And I know they say, oh, you didn't see that this went on. Never mind all that. It's the point, it's the boredom. You're sitting around and they give you nothing to do. And people that aren't even up for a laugh, all they want to do is sit around and, hug each other some more and cry a little bit more. It was just, I tell you the truth, I kind of felt I was going a bit mad. I used to go into the diary room, and if they could show you what I said in the diary room, I've sit in the diary room and it's like, I was in there for about 2 hours every day, just giving out. And if you see diary room, it's a black room, like, with 2 cameras, and you're just giving out to yourself, really, if you think about it. Like, and then you have this voice that's saying to you, yes, Mark, you're right, Mark, yeah, okay. And then when you come out, you kind of go, oh my God, I'm mad. There's something wrong with me. But, when it came to the foods, that stuff didn't bother me. I see them mind games, a lot of people get sucked into it. And reverting back to your question was, I treat it as a game. So every time they cut the food, I knew where they're cutting the food. They're cutting the food to cause an argument.
True.
They're cutting the hot water to get us agitated, to see something. But I didn't need to. I was just sitting back and I was their bet. It was a dream come true putting me in there. They didn't have to do half of that stuff. I was just going, okay, what do you want now? And as I said again, I was picturing myself as a viewer watching. What would I find funny? What would I find entertaining? And then I just acted up a little bit. And that was really it.
And do you think if there's another Irish person in there with you, do you think that would have made a lot of more difference? Because you kind of have.
Well, we did have one Irish person, the girl Jade. But when I say Irish, does anybody else go on like her? I don't know anybody else that goes on like her. You know, I know what I needed. The best description is like going to a rave on your own.
Yeah.
That was like going to that house. That's what it was like. There was no one to have a laugh with. There was great music and whatever, it was entertaining, but there's no one to have a fun with. I think that's what I needed, was another Irish person, someone who was actually just, you know, actually someone with a personality even, didn't even have to be Irish. Just someone who actually knew what was going on. I think that I would have loved that. Now, did I need them? I don't think so. You know, as Conor McGregor says, you know, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over, and I took over.
That's
so it is.
Now, let's look at your task. When it do give you guys tasks to actually work on, what is like for you guys to work on, you know, group task?
Well, my favourite task for me was when they had the brothers and the pledges task. That was like, you know, like an American fraternity for college. And it was just amazing. Imagine someone like me that just literally just thrives on just pretty much winding people up. Like, I'm a wind-up merchant.
Yeah.
Give me all the power. They had to do exactly what I told them. There was some stages where they literally brought me into the diary room and they had to tell me, Mark, you're going too far with this. And was a guy named Jack in there. I made him carry me to the toilet, and sat in the toilet. Went to the toilet, and I tried to get him to wipe my ass. And they get me in. They said, look, you can't, Mark, listen, you can't, these are human rights, you're not allowed to breach human rights. Okay, yeah, I'll bring that back. And then I kept going around, and I was making up nicknames for all of them that were a little bit, some found a little bit inappropriate, like Coffin Dodger, because someone was really old.
Yeah.
There were some worse ones. I'll leave it down.
No, we'll leave it for
but
that.
we won't go there. But yeah, no, the tasks were good, but again, some people they don't realise it's just a game. This is a show. They really took things to heart.
Just entertain and just give different vibes. You know?
If you know, but as well there was a lot of acting in there. Like, there was more acting in there than there was in Hollyoaks. Like, you know, people were putting on the waterworks every 2 seconds, and they were doing the best man speech every 2 seconds. Like, it was like, you know, this girl, she knows about the Miss World speech you've got to give. So yeah, a lot of them were doing that to try, because they knew the camera was watching, and they wanted to come across as, I'm a nice guy. Look, we're not all perfect. We all have flaws. We're human, and I am by far from perfect. I'm a messer, you know. This is it.
And from your experience now being on the Big Brother's house, has life changed since all of that has come and gone, and now you're in a different realm entirely? How's it for you?
Temporarily, look, the best way to say it to everybody is I'm enjoying my 5 minutes, and that's it. This isn't going to go any further. I've heard a lot of them on TV saying, oh, it's changed my life, it's opened up so many doors. No, it hasn't, you know. It hasn't done anything. My plan is now, I'm graduating from uni, I'm going to go off to LA 28th of December, I'm going to be a scientist, and from now till then, I'm enjoying the ride. Like, this is like a wave of fun. I'm constantly back and forth to the UK, and for a short period of my life, I feel important. So it's kind of like, you're going to clubs and people are like, oh man, you're great. I'm sitting there going, like, great? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything different, you know. And the best description is, you know, it has humbled me an awful lot. You know, it really has, because I realised there's only a window. By Christmas, there's going to be a new lot of Big Brother people, you know, trying to audition for it, and then by next year, no one's going to know who I am. So from now till then, I'm having as much fun as I can. I'm enjoying this ride, and I am going to be humble about it, and I think that's the best description you can have for it.
Well, I must say here that you've actually inspired a lot of more people like yourself who actually never thought of going to be where you are. And I believe, like next year, I believe a lot of people like yourself want to go and give that shot as well.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people saying they wanted to go on, they want to audition for Big Brother. But I remember being a kid. I remember when I was 13, I remember sitting in my mum's house, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, you know, watching Big Brother, going, no, I'd never do something like that. Like, you know, someone like me that comes from such a, you know, a humble home, to looking at Big Brother, like, I mean, I remember watching that. That's what's weird for me. Like, you're looking back a couple of years and you're looking at this going,
you can imagine yourself in there today.
I remember that moment watching Big Brother years and years ago. You know, you had like the big names like Nikki Graham, and you had like Brian Bellow, all them. Now, then when you meet them, you're like, oh my God, them people are not the same people you saw on TV. You used to love watching them. Then when you meet them,
it's a different ballgame entirely.
A lot of people, when they go onto reality TV, they let the fame fame go to their head. And when I met those two people, like I used to love watching them, and I was like, oh man, these guys are heroes. Then you meet them and you kind of go, oh my God, you're a knob. You know, and you know this is really it. So you know, it's never meet your heroes. That's what I'd always say, and don't ever let it go to your head. Really, that's really.
That's why entertainment is there. You know, you can never tell. Now, say if you have to go back again, would it make any difference with what you've experienced? Because like you said, you mentioned that there's no TV, there's none of these in there, all of that is not in there, and you just feel like, you know, entertaining people, just have a band and do things. So now you've seen the reality of it now. Now, if you go back in there, what would make the difference? What can you change in there?
That's like saying to someone, if you had a time machine, what would you go back and change? A lot of things I'd change because I know the outcome. But if you're saying about going into a new house, like if you're asking that question, or are you asking, am I going back into my old house?
Well, like if you decide to say tomorrow you want to go because there are other people who have been on the Big Brother before and they decide to throw them back in.
All right, cool. Well, if going back in my old house before I go in, I'd remember the lotto numbers, play lotto, and then I go in. But like, if we're gonna go in, now if I went back in, I'll tell you what I would do different. And there's one thing is that I think I'd play the game a little bit more. As was it Dexter Cole came in and he said to me, his advice to me when he came in and told me, he says, Dexter, you know, what advice would you give me, you know, being in here, like, because he's seen what it was like on the outside. And I'll never forget what he said. He just says, be more human. You know? I was like, what? And he goes, mate, you look like an absolute nut job on the show. Like, I was like, oh, really? So maybe I think, I take his advice and I'd be a little bit more human. And I think maybe sometimes, you know, being humorous the whole time, people kind of go, is he mad or what? Like, so I think maybe I'd bring it down a little bit and, you know, let people know I am still a person at the end of the day. But I think that's what people are a little bit kind of intimidated with, the fact of that. I didn't cry after fights. I just didn't show emotion really. I just ran around just messing the whole time. And
just having a good time and just did the best out of that.
But that's it. But you got to remember, the audience that watch this show are people that sit at home and they're like, you know, they get really sucked into it. They watch and they're like, look at him, look at him, he's winding them up again. And they get annoyed. It's not even the people in the show get annoyed, they get annoyed. So they kind of go, look, he's annoying me. And that's, I think, if you want to win Big Brother, you have to act.
True.
And that's something I wasn't prepared to do. And, you know, I mean, I'm not a good actor. I tried it before years ago and I am a terrible actor. I'm one of them people that looks at the camera like this and be like, forgetting me lines, you know. I'm very bad acting, so I should stay away from doing that, you know.
Yeah. Good. Now, Mark, before we let you go, you have other stuff coming up. So, what do you have coming up?
I'm still with the Pleasure Boys, as I said. We tour around UK and Ireland. This weekend I'm gone away. I'm never here. I said every second day I'm at the airport. All the people at the airport know me, but hey, Mark, how's it going? You know, and they're back again. And sometimes I do forget who's on. I think I actually know half their shifts, to be honest. You know? So I mean, look, I travel around every Friday from now till December. I'm booked out, and every Saturday, then every second Saturday, I'm traveling around doing PAs and appearances. I'm doing a few charity things. I mean, you know, I'm trying to do as much as I can in a short period. In a short period of time. And then 28th December, it's time to grow up and be a scientist.
That's it. Please give it up one more time for Mark. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Appreciate that. Stay to come on the show, my very good friend, singer-songwriter Lisa Peters, right here on the show. We'll be right back after this. One more time for Mark on it, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Sit down, watch it.